Lions Fan Cave Chat. This is Kneecap Biting with the Detroit Lions, hosted by me, Smoking Jeremy B. I got Chris, Silent Photographer Smith, and NFL's Top 100 is a garbage take. I think that's what that says. It stops for me.
Garbage list.
Garbage list, garbage take, whatever you want to call it. James Burgess says, Jeremy's late. I think he's pregnant. Mom. Super Bowl or Bust by Mark Mallet, and a nice big old Fug Green Bay.
Let's win the division first.
No, just he's always said that's his take every time he comes in, a Super Bowl or
That's
Bust.
supposed to be the take for every team every year.
Brian Roy says, hi, fellas, and James Burgess replies with a +1 comment. I'd never Fug Green Bay. I don't want to get herpes.
Right.
And Brian Roy says, hey, Dom. That being said, I am so happy to be here talking about this. You know, the Goffense and the defense both looks improved so far through camp. The defense is actually way ahead of what it was last year already. We're seeing them force fumbles and get interceptions. Goff had an off day today. Oh, my goodness. It happens. It's called practice.
Yep, absolutely.
So what do you think about that, Chris?
Well, as far as them taking a break, or where we going at?
That they look better so far this
Oh
offseason?
yeah. Oh yeah, it basically it shows, and I mean I'm proud of my boys in that secondary. Man, you know that old thing where you put on the fly suit and then you jump against the wall and stick. That's what our secondary looks like, and I'm loving it. And even with golf, like I say, iron sharpens iron, and it's very sharp. People gonna be getting cut.
Mark Malik, that's it. Hooker starts week 1.
No.
Hooker's still in a wheel for all intents and purposes. He's still in a wheelchair, basically.
Yep.
No. I mean, yeah, because he's redshirted, so he got 2 wheels on his chair.
He's on the what do you call it? It's crazy to me because they put him on the NFI list, right?
Yep.
Right.
But they have him out there throwing the football.
That's fraudulent and kind of cheating because that was 100% a football injury that he's recovering from.
But it didn't happen on the pro team. That's
right.
why J-Mo in the offseason went to the NFI.
It's the same deal as who they put on it last year. J-Mo,
Levi Onwuzurike, because it was a prior to football injury that was bothering him.
So you get till the beginning of the season, right, to be healthy enough to play, and then if you're not, you're out for 6 weeks.
Right.
We don't need you, Hendon Hooker. We don't need you for 6 weeks, minimally.
We don't need you for 18 weeks this year.
We won't need you at all.
21 weeks. 21 weeks total, right? 4 weeks of preseason, 17 weeks of the regular season, 22 weeks. We don't need you. And James says, Hooker ain't walking the streets till October, then we can play the Shaft theme song.
I love
that take. That's a good one. Another one. He's at +2 so far. Waiting to see when Smoking Dad pops in. And I know for those of you watching on Facebook, for some reason, Restream isn't allowing your comments to show up. Switch over to the YouTube side, look up Kneecap Biting with the Detroit Lions, subscribe, and start commenting there, and I'll see your name pop up immediately with no problems. Because I've seen that I've had comments that I've had to go back and reply to on Facebook. So,
yeah, including mine.
Yeah, because you were like, man, he ain't replying. I saw that after I got done with the show on Wednesday.
Yep, I've seen that.
But I at least I always reply on Facebook.
Yes, you do.
To everybody. I don't care because you know what? Whether your take is good or bad, you deserve a response.
Right.
Tenfold.
State sale for 15
bucks.
$15.
I know he did. I like his typing because I can tell that he's probably about his 3rd IPA or 5th IPA in.
Oh man, you should have seen the gauntlet
Was it good?
And
He says that was about 8 hours ago
yeah,
for the third or fifth beer in.
Oh wow.
That being said, I love the direction that this team is going. I love our coaching staff. If you look and you actually watch the tapes of Goff's ball and the way it's being thrown this year, it's a tightest spiral I've ever seen him throw, which means Coach Brunell has finally got Goff's mechanics right. It's not that
I
wobbly,
agree.
slightly wobbly spiral. It's actually got a nice ball. It's got a good zip on it. It's not too much where people can't handle it. He's dropping dimes on JMO Deep. And I mean dimes.
Yep.
Dropping
you know
Yep.
what
dimes on
Chris said
Gibbs,
about
dropping
iron
dimes
sharpens
on Sam
iron?
Laporta. What's
You
that?
know what I really think made our defense better?
Mm.
Going up against a top 5, by the end of the year, top 3, maybe the best O-line in the league. Like, what's going to make your defense better than going up against a phenomenal offensive line?
Like we did in week 1.
Yep. Still
Oh
almost beat
yeah.
them.
And me and JB was just talking about that. As far as iron sharpening iron, like, CJG wasn't no slouch. He won't revenge from KC from taking the ring from him. Cam Sutton is just a red eating pit bull. He don't care. And then Emmanuel Mosley, when he get back healthy, whether if it's in the beginning of the season or the middle of the season or whenever he gets back, he one of those red meat eating dogs. Just those three alone.
It's 3 guys that started for teams on defenses
right.
that are better than ours.
Okay, so I got a couple comments here.
Exactly.
Got a couple comments before we go to the next topic. James Burgess says, Goff has always thrown a sweet ball, ask Reynolds, but holy shit, it really is even better now. Was he working in his leg strength this offseason? Yes. And also, Brian Threecushion says, I hope Ford Field starts playing another one bites the dust like they did years ago. That would make my day. You want to know what? I'd like this one better because we've been getting so much hate from the other fan bases in our division lately where they're saying, oh, they're going to be the same old Lions. They're going to be trash. They're going to be in the basement, de-toilet Lions, whatever they say. I want them to start playing Blue October, hate me today every time we win.
I do not want to hear that Lions version of another one bites the dust because when they came out with that, it was a cover, and we were like 4-0, 5-0, and then we just absolutely went in the crapper.
Right.
And I love that Campbell and Goff came out in lockstep in the first press conference after the first day of training camp, and they were like, "We haven't done shit."
Right. They said, hey, we won 9 games, but we missed the playoffs. We haven't done shit. We have a lot of work to do. Yes, we're favored, and that's great, but pump the brakes.
I still will say it's our division to lose.
I agree.
I agree.
You look top to bottom, I think we improved second most, but the team that was in the basement improved the most roster-wise this year. Because they had more money to spend.
You know what's so funny? Bears fans, they want to piggyback off us from 2 years ago, thinking they're going to go from 3 wins to 9 wins. No, you are not. You might get to 6. And, if you double your win total, that's awesome. You're not doing what we did. But that's the thing. They were a 3-win team. And, the numbers say what the numbers say. Wins and losses are wins and losses. However, that 3-13-1 team from 2 years ago
was way better than 3-13-1.
The losses say we won 3 games, but
hey, Dom, you agree with me, not to cut you off, but you agree with me that a lot of the teams in the league are trying to copycat us. They trying to double +1 on their records, and then
crazy.
Even with
all of a sudden everyone wants to be the Lions.
Right.
No, you don't.
And then they all want to try to copy Ben Johnson's play action and everything else. But the thing is, they don't have Ben
You
Johnson.
can't do that.
Wait, you can't
don't have Ben
duplicate it
Johnson. More importantly, you don't have
you
Jared
don't have
Goff.
Jared Goff.
Right.
Jared Goff for his entire career,
Him too.
his QBR is like when 130s for play action passes, and his passer rating's over 125.
He's far
Oh,
and
yeah.
away the
best
best
guy.
quarterback in the NFL in play action.
Yep. Okay, and did Brian? I gotta go somewhere else. There it is. Okay. Patty Grimes asked, "Did we see the Sports Illustrated Lions interview?" No, I did not. I'm going to watch that
I
later
did.
tonight. What all did they say, Chris? Go ahead.
Basically, they talked to Brad Holmes, they talked to Dan Campbell and Jared Goff. Basically, all of them piggyback off of each other. Basically, saying that that Jared Goff is the man, and then he's saying they the man. But basically, what we've been talking about most of the year, like everyone clicked. Like everyone knew that the first year was gonna be trash. The second year was gonna be that rebuild, and the third year we just need to plug holes in so many ways. And they complimented each other on those things, and they loved that they got Jared Goff. And Jared Goff loved that they got them, and that was pretty much the most of the interview. But I mean, you want more details? Go ahead, take that and run that. I mean, it's a very good interview, very much watch.
Thank you for the information. And I agree that that's exactly what they've all been saying all off season. They said they got a lot of work to do, and they know what Vegas is
Absolutely.
saying. They know what all the pundits on the Four Letter Sports Network and NFL Network and CBS and everybody else is saying.
Network.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, they might have
the Eternal Self-Promotion Network.
That one.
Yep.
SI was enlightening from Brian Roy. The Lions is a destination for players night. Tim Levine, one of the admins from the Motor City Kneecap Biters, says, "Yo, guys, how you doing, Tim? Hope you're enjoying your travel."
All right.
And James Burgess says, "The Bears had a good offseason, but they ain't winning 9. No way."
No.
And amen.
No.
The Bears are exactly trying to channel their inner Brad Dan. Even Bears fans say it. And
Yes,
Brian,
sir.
You know what it is?
Brian Three Cushion says Bears 6 or 7 wins.
Yep.
I salute them.
They still probably crying over Demo coming to us. Because they needed Demo to make their play action work, but now Demo's gone, and Demo is being utilized the way that he's supposed to, and he home and he hungry. Yeah, the Bears about to cry.
Yep. And Patty Grimes says Holmes and Campbell is not really a meathead, but they are smart. And
Indeed.
Tim Levine says in his travels he's doing great here in McMinnville, Oregon. Yeah, Keegan Eckert wants the link. Yes, sir. I'll send it to you right shortly.
No, you know the real reason that we're favored to win the division?
Because everybody else is trash.
That too. That too. I mean, yeah, the main reason is default, but it's the other big reason is what I asked for going forward when we traded Stafford for Goff, and we hired Holmes, and we hired Campbell. It's one word. You remember what it was, Jeremy?
What that is?
Continuity.
Yes.
We are the only team in the division for 2 years with the same GM, the same head coach, the same starting quarterback.
Yep.
All right, Dan, working on it, big guy. There. Keegan and Dan, your link is sent.
Dan's going to hop on after he sees the last 12-minute promo.
Bing Dan Davis says, "Did you see how well the wide receiver Dylan Drummond has done with the twos?" Yes. Mims and Antoine Green are putting up a battle to get that fourth wide receiver position right now. And I think Mims and Antoine Green have the slight edge because they're both taller. And they're doing just as much work. So I would give the 6'3" and the 6'2" guy a shot before I give the 6'6" guy a shot, because we have a lot of those fast 6 foot and under guys.
Campbell loves Drummond, though.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I think he's going to make the roster, but I don't think he'll be the fourth. Is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
so who's got the best arm length? Because I mean, if you got the height, you need the arm length. So, know what I'm saying? You got that stretch.
Mims.
Mims has the biggest reach. Antoine Green has the biggest explosiveness capability, is from what I've seen in his North Carolina tapes. And I hate saying that about a basketball school football player.
Oh, you didn't like Eric Ebron?
Eric Ebum. So you guys have your links. Hop in when you're ready. But I also, okay. Patty Grimes, I think this is a Brockers quote, maybe Walker. The more you think Coach Dan is a rah-rah me-head, the more steps he is ahead of you, and it has a purpose. I like that. Brian Three Cushion says, Decker says he's impressed with David Montgomery. He should be. When you're creating 4.3 yards of space, and that's what that guy averaged for his career behind the 20th O-line or worse.
Led the league in broken tackles.
Because he was getting hit at negative 0.7 yards behind the line.
Right.
I just hope he can adjust
to have
the rest of training camp in this because he's not going to get barely any snaps during the preseason. Like, what happens week one? Play one of the first offensive series, and the ball gets snapped, and he sees a hole.
I think you're going to see all those guys that are automatically starters and on the team, that first 44, they're going to be practicing that whole week while everybody else is going through and seeing who's getting cut. So they'll be game ready for week one. That's what I see happening. They're going to know who their 44 is right off the rip.
All I'm saying is, and I said this at the beginning of the year last year, remember, Jeremy? Because I knew our O-line was good. Because if your O-line is good, they can run block. I said, run it some more until you can prove they can stop you. And we have better running backs.
Yeah. Dan Davis said Monty should run for 1,000 at least behind our O-line. And I still say Gibbs will be lucky to get 7 to 12 carries a game at running back. I think he's going to be used mostly like 10 to 15 snaps at wide receiver.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think they're going to kind of divide it too. I think mainly they're going to have Gibbs is more like a tailback, like a sweep back, because he can get up out of that backfield fast.
Wheels.
And everybody says, oh, they're going to use strictly Gibbs to pass out of the backfield. No, David Montgomery.
No, they're going to mix it up.
Oh, Montgomery's a good pass catcher.
Yeah, he's actually.
Yeah, they're going to mix it up. They ain't going to know which way to go.
Bigger than I thought he was. He's not a small dude. He's like 5'11", 225.
Right.
Yep.
And Mohamed Ibrahim is a little shorter and about the same weight.
Yeah.
So that means he's a big guy in a short man's body.
Right.
Yep.
And
hey, did y'all see that picture with Barry Sanders, Gibbs, and Campbell and Megatron? How they was all stacked up. Barry was the shortest, and Barry was always 5'7", solid.
5'9".
He was 5'9". I thought he was 5'7".
I've met Barry. He's about 6 inches shorter than me, and I'm 6'2".
Okay.
He's like 5'7".
Okay.
What's up, Keegan?
Okay.
But his lower body weighs more than my entire body.
Right.
I'm saying.
So I got to get over here and see some stuff real quick. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, because I was about to say I'm about 190, but I ain't solid.
Okay,
and the go from 90 to what, 70 something.
I'm in between that area, but I'm like 5'9" also.
5'9" with heels. That's accurate.
Yeah. Okay.
And the fro.
Are they going to cut all 37 players in one day? No, it usually takes them 2 to 3 days to make all the cuts every time. They usually after that game, that last Sunday that they do, the last game when they're able to start making cuts.
Yeah.
Usually Monday is where you see the bulk of that, the ones that are cut, and then they have to decide who's practice squad, who's not after that.
Yeah.
Well, I think they got a cut during the preseason from 90 down to like 75.
They're not doing that anymore. All the cuts are done after week 3. You keep the whole 90 for the 3
cool
weeks.
With that.
And so am I, because you know what that means? The starters don't have to sniff the field week 3.
Yeah.
They stay healthy. I mean, even though I much rather they would do it the other way around, put all those roster bubble guys in week 1, let them fight it out, figure out who you like and who you don't like.
Right.
Then play your 2s and those guys that made it, see how they're doing, who's going to bump up and who's going to go back. And then take 1 quarter and play your starters in week 3 so they're game ready.
That's how it used to be when we had 4 weeks. You get like,
but I mean, if you did that with the 3 weeks,
right,
that would make more sense because that makes your guys game ready.
The dress
rehearsal to the season.
Right.
Again, but they're doing it bass backwards, in my opinion. You're doing less workouts. People are in less game shape. You have them. You could take all the guys you know that aren't going to make the roster because you know who they are. You could make them that's the other team, and just have your starters every week go to Allen Park while the game's going.
Exactly. The starters go there and practice while they doing they thing.
Yeah,
fly all the rookies out secondary. Right.
The way they run it now, September is basically the glorified preseason.
Right. Now your first 3 weeks is a glorified preseason. Because you see some really bad teams do really good for a week, and you see some really good teams do really bad for a week.
Yeah, all I need is 1 bad week from Kansas City.
Well, let's go back to what I said about Kansas City all along. The last 5 years, they are a struggling team to have a winning record through 6 weeks for 5 years straight. That's starting back with Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes the last 4. They'll have that 2-4, 3-3, or a 1-5 record, then turn it off and rip off 8 straight because the defense finally comes together because they've been one of the youngest defenses in the league, in the top 10 for youth every time.
And George, I think they got it.
And it takes that amount of time for that defense to gel. This is going to be more of a it's not going to be a low-scoring game. We came out and smacked Seattle in the mouth defense. They smacked their defense in the mouth.
Well, I seem to remember the last time that Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes met on a Thursday in a shootout. Who came out on top?
Yeah.
That was a Monday Night Football game in Mexico City.
Right. Hey, y'all, I seen a Madden simulation, and I mean, I was just looking at the simulation. They got us beating Kansas City Chiefs. I think it was 14-20. I think it was 24 because they kicked the field goal at the last. And you want to know who was mad and how I kind of go with Madden on this one because, like I say, CJ is a dog. Like he just like you said in the interview, he's contagious, and he got them boys spicy. And you know, KC he can't stand them, and he was all over the field in that simulation. Like he had batted balls, 2 interceptions. I mean, he was killing it. He came up, met the running back on a few plays. I'm like, man, this might be it. We might be getting KC today.
I've said we're going to win it by 4 points the entire time.
Yeah.
Have I strayed from that at all, Keegan?
Hey, JB, 9 times out of 10, you right. Yep, 9 times out of 10, you right, JB. So I'm going with you.
And then last year when we got ready to play Philadelphia, did I not say it's going to be a close game no matter who wins? It'll be by 3 points.
Yep.
That's the difference between good teams and not good teams. Good teams find a way to win that game.
But you know what?
If we can beat them by 4 points, that will officially tell me that
we're there.
The league and the refs and the powers that be are no longer against the Lions.
True story.
Or we're finally a good team.
And James
True story.
Good teams
bad
win
math,
close games.
17. Haha. Yep. LOL. Will Vogel says, "Hey guys," and James Burgess tells him, "Hey-o," and he says, "Hi, James back." And the Chiefs will be sorely pressed when Aiden concusses Mahomes early in the second quarter, looking like Richard Dent.
It was Monday night, but it wasn't Mexico City. It was in LA.
No,
But there were 105 points scored.
right. It was Monday night in Mexico City. The game was
It
played.
says LA.
No,
You
LA
might be
was the
right.
home team, but it was in Mexico City. It was the first game ever played in Mexico City back then in 2018. Because there was 100,000 little Mexican football fans in the stadiums.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was played in that converted.
No. It was supposed to be there.
It was there.
And the field was fucked up.
Damn.
Remember?
What, out in L.A.?
No, in Mexico City.
Oh, okay.
Originally slated, I mean, unless Wikipedia is wrong, it could be slated to be part of the NFL International Series and was scheduled to be played at Estadio Azteca in Mexico City, which hosted the game the previous 2 seasons. However, the playing field was found to be in deficient condition after rains earlier in the month.
Yep. They had a bunch of rains and it didn't.
And a heavier schedule and a Shakira concert.
They put it back at the LA Memorial because SoFi wasn't done yet.
Okay.
And
Mahomes threw 2 or 3 picks that game. Goff.
Yep, you guys are right, but I know it was scheduled to be played.
It was supposed to
at
be
Mexico City, so I just don't feel bad. I knew that's where it was scheduled, so that's what I thought it was.
Right.
Yep.
0, as in the same number of picks that Jared Goff threw for the last 10 weeks of the season.
200 or was it 596 straight snaps or 396? I know 96 is the last number.
He's
Mm-hmm.
carrying over. I think he's like
over 300,
less than 100 pass attempts away from the all-time record.
Right. It's 396 then, because the record is 495. So if he hits that 100 snaps without throwing a pick.
Oh, it's snaps, not pass attempts?
Yeah, it was snaps.
Who owns the record?
I think it's
Rodgers.
It's either Rodgers or Brady.
I think it's Brady.
But no, I actually think it's Rodgers. I think he's right because Rodgers had that ungodly season and a half without an interception.
Yeah.
And that was in the 2 MVP seasons. I think it lapsed over from one to the other.
All those stats in one ring.
All right, and the Lions are going to beat down a lot of teams this year. Mark Malik says, and James Burgess backed up what you said. It was not Mexico City; it was relocated because the field was all fugged up, and they moved it back to L.A. And Brian 3 Cushion says the referees always suck when it comes to the Detroit Lions. Hey, you know what? It was nice seeing that at one point. There was a week where I saw it was going to be Clete Blakeman was the head referee, and they switched the game he was in.
Yep.
That the whole referees fucking us, that's going away.
Yeah, that's when I said
with same old Lions.
That's when I said same old Lions is done. And then when
same old Lions done. Because Lions
that does still happen.
Alive and well.
We're gonna lose to a bad team this year.
Atlanta.
We're gonna beat 2 teams that we absolutely should not beat. And it'll be a road game. You watch.
Yeah.
Kansas City and LA. As in the Chargers.
Yeah. The Chargers aren't good.
They're a good team. They're badly coached. There's a difference.
Oh, so the Chargers?
Well, I think everybody can.
Very Caldwell-esque.
Chargers going Charger is older than same old Lions.
Yes, it is. Goff drops back to his ass, and he's confused about what to do because Greens and Mims are both wide open deep. You know what? You know why I think Mims is going to be that 4th wide receiver, and I think Green, while J-Mo's out, will be the 2? Because he played wide receiver 1 and 2 at North Carolina for the 3 years he started. There was one other receiver
Okay.
that was the one for 1 year, and that receiver was Josh Downs, right?
Yup. Downs. Yup.
Okay.
Yep. James Burgess, you're
I
right.
do fear the Atlanta game because they're going to be able to run the ball very well with their three-headed monster. You're not talking about an average running back. Cordarrelle Patterson came out of nowhere as a running back and was very effective for them, and the backup came in and was just as good, just with more
They
power.
had almost 1,800 yards rushing last year, and they just added what looks to be the best college running back prospect since
And
Saquon.
newsflash, Okuda was carted off the field today at offseason.
Yeah. I'm bummed.
I'm bummed. I wanted to see what he would do with
I
the
want
man
to see
coverage
him
defense.
resurrect his career.
I wanted to see him play with a man coverage defense, and that's what they are.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna be the sidebar of the conversation. I think the two games that we expected to win, well, not win, but we're gonna win. I'm gonna take the Chargers out of the equation, and I'm gonna put the Cowboys in. Because the reason why I say that we might be able to get the Chargers, because I mean, the Chargers. I mean, because the Chargers, our defense is gonna go blow for blow, but the Cowboys, they ain't got no defense like that. And Goff gonna pick them apart, and our defense gonna be hungry. So that's why I say the Cowboys. Yep.
I got a tidbit for everybody. Before everybody say that they won because Todd Gurley had a great game in 2018, he did not. He had 12 carries for 55 yards.
That's another one.
Did 14 for 70. Neither one of them had a touchdown. Pat Mahomes may have thrown for 6 touchdowns, but he threw for 3 picks. And one of them was a pick 6.
Goff had none.
Goff had none with 4 touchdowns. Brandon Cooks had 8 receptions for 107 yards. Tariq Hill, on the other hand, 10 receptions, 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. They couldn't stop him. That was the year they traded for the next offseason when they traded for Jalen Ramsey, wasn't it? Because of Tariq Hill?
Yep.
It's just crazy.
Yep.
And Kelsey had 10 catches for 127 yards. Chris Conley had a decent game, 7 for 74. Kareem Hunt caught 3 for 41. Dunta Robinson, God, there's a name that you don't hear very much anymore. He caught 1 for 14.
What up, big bro?
Sammy Watkins caught 1 for 4, and that was the game he got hurt in.
The game that week.
Yeah, the game that week he got hurt in, right. And let's go to the Rams side. Goff was 31 of 49 for 413 yards. Is that right?
Yeah.
400 yards.
54 points. Yeah.
And everybody on the team except for Kadarrell Hodge, go figure. He had 1 reception for 3 yards. Everybody else was over double digits in average. Well, I think we got Big Dan in here.
Kadarrell Hodge, I just heard.
Yeah. He was on that roster in 2018.
I was about to say.
Keegan.
I was about to say. Yep. I got one for the panel.
Okay.
What rank is Dalvin Cook this year as a running back? Where would you rank him at?
I don't know. He's unemployed.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I can't rank him.
Okay, well, when he was with Minnesota, how would you rank him last year?
Last year, he was a top 15 back.
He was pretty healthy last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he only missed 2 or 3 games.
Right.
That's good for Dalvin Cook.
So the reason why I say that is because we held him, and he almost cried because he didn't even get over 50 yards.
We made him fumble in both games.
He played
what are you talking about? We made him fumble in both games.
Yeah, true story.
He did not miss a game last year.
Oh, he did play them all? Okay.
First time in his career.
But he did miss quarters, drives, and snaps. If you look at his snap counts, you can see where they went low because he went out for a quarter.
Lowest yards per carry of his career.
Yep.
4.4, that's still respectable.
Yeah. I mean, and
Look,
they have
Dalvin Cook, unemployed.
Kareem Hunt,
Former rushing leader Ezekiel Elliott, unemployed. Former rushing leader Kareem Hunt, unemployed. Buffalo, what are you doing?
Former rushing leader Leonard Fournette, unemployed.
Surprised Buffalo hasn't called either one of those guys yet.
As far
Yeah.
Any one of them.
Wait, or the Colts.
Yeah,
They
with the
just
whole
lost Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor wants to go bye-bye.
I had a whole diatribe on the gauntlet about Jonathan Taylor.
Last thing,
Like, you're not going to be the one to buck the trend, homie. Running backs are not getting paid. He's like, oh, trade me. Okay, we'll trade you to someone else that won't pay you.
Right.
The only reason you won a rushing title was because that 1 year
they had the best
you didn't get hurt.
And they had the best O-line in the league that year.
Yeah, and they had a great O-line, and that's what I've always said. It's about the O-line, not the running back. And guess what?
And
he still averaged less yards per carry by 0.07 yards.
Rob Newsom comes in and
Nick
said
Chubb averaged more. That was the year Nick Chubb got hurt.
I need to address the chat first before our stuff disappears. Rob Newsom comes in, says Atlanta is not bad, mid-level. The Chargers are pretty good. James Burgess says, I fear the friggin' Atlanta game too. They can actually run the ball effectively, which means for them any given Sunday. And Brian Threecushion says, I would like to see us beat KC, Seattle, Dallas, New York Giants, and Carolina besides the teams in our division. We owe Carolina a revenge game. They're coming to our house. I think we're smacking them in the mouth.
Yeah.
We'll get them.
It's the same thing with Seattle, too.
Brian Threecushion says Chargers, too. And Rob Newsom says Buffalo is tanking the season. Could.
If Buffalo doesn't get a running back, they'll be inadvertently tanking when Josh Allen has a death scare on the field in like week 5. And it's not even about not having a run game that's bad, but it's the short yardage and the goal line stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, I have a new show starting tomorrow night where I'm doing it solo. It's going over the depth chart for each position group. I'm starting with the safeties. It airs at 8:30. It should be about a half hour to 45-minute show. So I'm going to go in depth on about 4 players on the safety depth chart. You can pretty much guess who those 4 are right here off the rip because the other ones are just depth spotter. Come on, Dom. What's the 4, Dom?
The safeties?
The 4 safeties I'm going to talk about tomorrow night.
I mean, it's Kirby, CJ, Branch.
You good? Yeah. Okay.
Brandon Joseph, Walker.
There you go. Walker, and I did write a little something about Brandon Joseph, but I had to go back 2 years to find a full season.
That's the thing. Our back 4 is kind of like our linebackers / ends because we look kind of thin at linebacker, but there's also those guys that play end / linebacker. Much
right.
Like, they have C listed as our number 1 corner or nickel or whatever. Like Brian Branch, he can pretty much sit for a year,
but he won't. He's been very
impressive. He force his way into the lineup, just like Kirby.
Yeah, he's doing exactly what Kirby did. But the thing that promoted Kirby early, before he was actually ready, was the Walker injury in week 3.
Yeah, and we literally have movable pieces.
And did he
all over the field?
And did he literally struggle the first 2 weeks? Yes. Was he burnt toast?
Like we have ends that can play DT.
Was he a rookie version of Eli Apple those first 2 games? Yes.
Plus I got to use it bad, bro.
We have ends that can play linebacker. We have safeties that can play
corner.
Be
right back, bro.
Yep.
Hey, Chris, say you want a big go?
I'm going to mute you for a second.
Yeah.
Chris.
Okay.
That being still worried about the linebackers.
Yeah, I still think the linebacker room is much improved. Even though we really didn't sign anybody outside, we're more improved by people who started showing up at the end of the season that we didn't expect to start showing up because there was people we started to write off. And you know who I'm talking about. Derrick Barnes, the last
Derrick
3 games,
Barnes.
he saved Anzalone's butt so many times it wasn't funny. Y'all say what you want. He would miss a tackle and Barnes would be right there. And that was when I started giving Anzalone his nickname again. Remember that, Dom?
Yep. I think Barnes saw the writing on the wall between us drafting a linebacker high and then giving Anzalone that money.
Right.
And I mean, he had to know, like, man, he's like, I've got to be better than Rodrigo.
Well,
like, Rodrigo, nice story. Not a starting linebacker on a good team.
And I don't care what anybody says. The best play all season by Rodrigo was when he grabbed Jason Kelsey and hip tossed him in the Philly game so we could stop him at the goal line. That was amazing.
He did give him an old school 1980s Mid-South wrestling hip toss.
Yeah, it was the side suplex, whatever you want to call it. It was great.
Belly to belly.
And Brian Three Cushion says, I heard Branch is doing well in camp now. Yeah, here's the play that made me impressed with Branch, despite his slow 40 time. He was sitting back about 15 yards away, took a great angle. Speedy Khalif Raymond that Brian Branch should never, ever, ever, ever be able to catch. Took the right angle, got there and made the pass breakup on a play in Khalif Raymond's hands. And it 100% would have been a catch if he didn't get there. And it was just such an amazing angle and such an amazing play and so heads up. It was almost like a second or third year corner making the play, not a rookie.
I would like to give credit to myself and you, Jeremy, and you, Dan, for making Khalif Raymond an all-pro kick returner because we just talked shit about him for 3 years.
He finally stopped taking a knee to catch punts. Hallelujah.
Yeah, I had to stop calling him Laqueef for a few.
And James Burgess, I really want Rodrigo to be quality depth, not a starter. Right now, the way it looks, he is quality depth. And Brian Three Cushion says, I remember that, Jeremy. James Burgess says, Branch might well be the defense version of Amon-Ra. Yeah, absolutely, where he's way faster on the field than he is in pajamas. And
I'm good with that because, to be honest, other than our O-line,
the only depth we have is running back right now. But if David Montgomery, who's our bell cow, goes down, we're going to struggle.
Our starters really aren't that good anywhere other than the O-line.
And wide receiver. I think right now we are way better this year with the wide receiver room than we were last year. MJJ and Denzel Mims will be our contested catch guys, but the difference is Denzel Mims can run away if he gets that ball.
Yeah, he's the new shark. And hopefully more healthy.
Yep, and
until JMO gets back.
We got him for a conditional 7th or 6th round pick, right?
Yeah.
If he doesn't make the roster,
I wish the NFL would get their shit together and turn all the 6-game suspensions into 3, just so JMO could come back like Josh Gordon and just set the league on fire.
And by re-signing Justin Jackson and the emergence of these young guys who are actually supplanting Khalif Raymond with the 2s. If you think about this, they're taking snaps away from Khalif Raymond right now. Justin Jackson is a good punt and kick returner. Netflix has return kicks. Brian Branch is a punt returner. JMO can kick return. I'm not saying I want him there, but if he continues struggling catching the ball, I would move him there and let the other guys.
It's a catch-22 with Raymond,
right?
Because he's an all-pro kick and punt returner, but we might need him to make a few catches, at least those first 6 weeks. He's proven himself to me as a pseudo-legitimate receiver.
Right. And Mark
which is tough because you can't rely on someone as a receiver if he's your kick and punt returner.
And I saw something the other day out of camp that gave me a lot of hope. The guy that had the best bend out of the D tackle room is working with the guy with the worst bend that we drafted. Isaiah Buggs has taken Broderick Martin to the sleds and showing him how to get low and come up underneath like he's supposed to with good hand pop. As strong as he is, if he develops that hand pop coming out of low bend, offensive lines are in trouble because he's strong enough to just bull rush people back. But if he does that, Branch is playing CB and not safety. Branch has been doing exactly the same as Gibbs on the offense. Gibbs has been doing 80% wide receiver and 20% running back, which I'm perfectly fine with. Branch is doing 80% at cornerback and 20% at safety. And James Burgess,
like I said, movable pieces.
Right. And
because it's like that all over the defense. Pascal and Kaminsky.
Pascal, Kaminsky, Buggs, Aleem,
or DT.
Levi. And Levi's looking decent right now. So that, hey, he's staying healthy through four weeks of preseason.
If we get one regular season snap out of Levi, he proved me wrong.
Yeah, because we both thought he was done with that back surgery.
And then you got the Aquaros playing end or linebacker.
And I don't know if either Aquara will be on the team after the trade deadline.
I'm okay with that.
Julian might get cut.
On the radio the other day, like, this might be one of the times for the first time in a long time where we cut guys and other teams sign them.
Rob Newsom says if Martin develops a bull rush, he's going to be a major disruptor. No, that's all he has right now. He has no hand pop. All he is a bull rush guy. He's big and strong and can just shove guys back, whether he's bent or not. That's how strong he is. This is what I seen in his college tape as a nose tackle at Western Kentucky. And also when he played in the Senior Bowl, which was a Calvin Shepard coach defense, if everybody remembers right, that's where they saw him being double and triple teamed by the elite seniors that played in Power 5 conferences, and they couldn't stop him. He was still getting to running backs with 2 and 3 guys on him, even though he had no bend whatsoever. So he is strong as hell.
Do we want to talk about the Hall of Fame game?
Oh, it was garbage.
No.
I mean, Hall of Fame game, and I understand it's the first game of the season, but when you had neither starting quarterback in there starting, it was an atrocious game, and that was a slap in the face to the name Hall of Fame game, in my opinion.
I didn't watch it at all.
It ran late, too.
It was, I mean, and I forgot that's how it works, but it's focused on, it was the Jets and the Browns because Joe Thomas and Darrelle Revis went into the Hall of Fame. Shout out to them.
Right.
2 of the best from there. You know what Joe Thomas did at the draft?
Mm-mm.
He didn't. He went fishing.
That's great.
But if you want to see something great, I just saw it the other day. And I don't think they matched up more than once. But go look at the highlights of Darrelle Revis covering Calvin Johnson.
And Patriots Media, which is my buddy Jordan Davidson, he says, could you see the Lions trading for Aaron Donald before the deadline if Rams move him and the Lions live up to the hype? I don't know if they would, and there's a reason why. Right now we're sitting on that cusp of $20 million, and $8 million of that is always set aside for injury concerns. So that leaves us with only $12 million.
And we don't have the extra draft
and he's
picks
the first
anymore.
$30 million D tackle. So if we did trade for him, we'd have to immediately restructure his contract, and I don't think he'll go for that. And he's 32 years old.
I mean, you can have J-Mo in a first for Aaron Donald. We really don't need J-Mo. Even if he ends up being the man, we don't need him.
Over under before Matt Stafford breaks his back and has a career-ending injury this year.
Don't say that.
Or he breaks it again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's already had the Tony Romo injury.
Right.
I hope his wife's just like, hang it up, Matt.
She did tell him that, and he basically told her, shut up, it's my body. But
He's a gamer.
James Burgess says, yeah, this year Lions camp casualties will end up getting in-season snaps with other teams. And I did mean plural. And Tim Levine agrees with me about Broderick Martin. And James Burgess says, if you want to talk fishing, yeah, I guess that'd be okay by Ronnie Van Zant. I remember that. That was an old interview with Leonard Skinner, right? Tim Levine, buy Arnold and Ida Beast. Buy Arnold, Ida Beast, just a saying. I would love to buy him, but it's money-wise. He's making $30 million a year on that new defensive tackle thing.
We just really don't have it.
At least Stafford didn't fumble the hold on a kick like Romo in the playoffs. Yeah, when both of the backup quarterbacks got hurt holding kicks because they were getting blocked. He fumbled. That was after the refs gave that game. They gave that play away from the picked up flag. But that was not the only reason the Lions lost. It's just the reason we're bitter about losing. Correct, Dom?
Yeah.
The 2014 Lions? It wasn't the only reason we lost.
The reason we lost is because we scored 6 points in the second half. Or was
And
it
we
3?
stopped running. No, it was 6. You're right. It was 2 field goals in the third quarter. But
it just sucks because
it didn't help.
That team was built to go much further.
Right. The problem is you had Calvin Johnson, who had 3 holds on third down during running plays that got us called back on third down. You had a hold by, what was it, Gosder Cherilus that was still the right tackle at the end of his rookie deal, I think it was. At the right tackle that was holding.
No, it was probably Wagner.
Oh, yeah, it was Wagner, but we had Riley Reif holding at left tackle on the other third down play. And Zach Zenner, who had 77 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half, had 8 yards in the second half. Because everybody was hurt. Everybody was hurt. You back, Chris?
Yeah. I mean, it's like that game. That was
I'm gonna go back.
The only game in
Stafford's
playoff career where he played well enough to win.
Right.
But we couldn't stop a gentle breeze against the Saints.
Well, that defense got
Calvin go for like 230 that game.
Yeah, Calvin went off, but he didn't get in the end zone. Patriots media says, everything I think of Tony Homo, that's what I think of is him costing Cowboys versus Seahawks in the playoffs.
Wait, was that the game where he was the holder?
Yeah, that's because remember in the first quarter, their backup quarterback got hurt. Block, holding because it was damn near a blocked field goal and he got smashed. He went out for the game with a concussion. Then at the beginning of the second half, the punter got hurt. So Tony Romo had to be the holder the rest of the game. In the last game, they were down by 1 point or 2 points, and the field goal would have won it.
Yeah, would have won on the field goal.
Right.
Yeah.
And he fumbled the snap. Because he's never...
Shout out to Tony Romo for retiring with the highest quarterback rating in NFL history. Still owns it.
Right.
Until Rodgers retires.
Right.
And it won't be close.
No. He's going to surpass that by at least 15.
Can we trade Rodgers' ring? I would give it to Tony Romo and the Cowboys.
Why?
Happily.
So the Packers don't have one.
Because fuck Aaron Rodgers.
Man,
I don't like Romo as an announcer anymore.
And Brian Three Cushion says, I remember when Zenner got those touchdowns. Yeah, one was at the end of the first quarter, which gave us a 10 to, wasn't that a 10-0 league at that point?
Mm-hmm.
And then,
but remember the next year when we kept bringing him in cold on goal line plays?
And he would just bull rush right through.
Get stuff or fumble.
Oh, yeah, the next year, yeah. But, who was our starting running backs that year that we were so happy with because they had us over 1,000 yards? Interesting stat. Karen Rodgers has as many Super Bowl appearances as Stafford and Goff.
Yep.
One.
That's their trade-off for all those years of superior quarterback play. 2 rings.
Rodgers is on the Jets, so Romo might still have it. Jets is where quarterback careers die. He's got a point. Brett Favre even looked like
except
total
he's
booty
going to
cheeks.
Minnesota next year because guess who's leaving?
Kirk Cousins.
Until it doesn't happen with Rodgers, it's happening.
Right.
Yep.
He is following.
He'll be in Minnesota soon.
He is following the Brett Favre career path from going from Packers to Jets. Next
I hear that all the time. Yep, I hear that all the time on this side of the lake.
He can't handle that New York media.
I know.
He couldn't handle the Green Bay media.
And they barely bashed him. They barely bashed him last season.
Just wait till the Jets start losing.
And I'm going to defend Favre Rodgers last year for one thing. That wide receiver core led the league in drops. 40.
Maybe if you would have worked out with him prior to when he had to be at training camp.
But it doesn't matter. What's your one job as a wide receiver?
True. But when you've got, Dobbs was a rookie, right?
Yep.
Watson was a rookie.
The corpse of Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard, Sammy Watkins.
Yep, Lazard, yep.
Wasn't that their wide receiver core last year? 5 deep?
No.
Okay. We all knew Sammy Watkins wouldn't last. We all knew Randall Cobb is being put together with Tony Romo's suit that he wore the last season he played for Dallas.
True story.
Randall Cobb has actually been dead for 5 years.
Yeah, he's wearing that suit that Romo wore, the Robo suit.
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers' best lineman didn't play either. Yeah, Bakhtiari. And James Reddis, I'll defend Rodgers like Kirby Joseph instead and laugh really hard despite missing out on 2 more INTs. Yeah, wasn't one called back because of defensive holding on the opposite side of the field?
Yeah,
and then the other
one more.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you out.
No, against the Packers, he'd have had 2 more in that last week. There was 2 called back on penalties. One was an offside. So the play was already whistled dead. It didn't matter. It was a free play for them. Kirby Joseph caught that.
Rodgers is so scared of Kirby Joseph, he went all the way to the other conference.
Yeah, to where he knew they didn't hit to play the Lions this year because he was in those 2 games, that was his favorite receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers is at 103.6. Romo's 97.1.
Yeah. Oh, Patriots media, I got a hot take. Go ahead.
Oh, God.
Jordan Love leads the NFL in interceptions. I don't know. It'll be a close race between him and Justin Fields.
I'm parking.
Oh, come on. That's kind of funny.
Did you get my message?
We should all pitch in, but a Kirby Joseph rookie card and send it autographed to Karen. Yes, I mentioned that already, Jordan, before you hopped into the chat.
Hey, Kirby should sign it. I'm your daddy.
Jeff Okuda got carted off the field. I still haven't heard what the injury is.
Yeah, no, me neither.
You know what? It's still bad. He was in a one-on-one drill with Frank Darby, and I heard he had him beat, but he made a cut to turn on the ball, and it was a non-contact injury, which telling me it might be one of those KNEE 3-letter designations. ACL, MCL, or PCL. Not saying it is. I'm your daddy, +1, and +1 for all 3 interceptions is what Kirby Joseph should sign. And the Colts signed Kenyon Drake at running back to replace Jonathan Taylor.
Kenyon Drake on his 4th team in 4 years.
He was great at Miami. They just couldn't afford him at the time because they were going through that whole rebuild process.
Yeah.
And when Josh Jacobs missed his game last year, Kenyon Drake looked great. Remember that? We talked about it, Dom.
Yeah.
Does Fields throw enough to compete for most interceptions? He might.
Yep. I
But
think he
all I
will.
know right now, Jaquan Brisker to Justin Fields to Brisker looks about as good as Rodgers to Kirby Joseph. Because Brisker has been intercepting everything over the middle of the field when he goes deep. Yes,
Yep.
I actually watch the shorts for all the teams in training camp because I want to see how those QBs that we're facing are doing.
Right. I've been doing the same thing. I want to see how many kids Kirby gonna have.
The only reason which Lions on the roster will make the Hall of Fame. If we do anything in the playoffs, I'm gonna say it's Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Or Amon-Ra St. Brown or Aiden Hutchinson.
Yep.
Those are my three. Would you agree with that, Dan?
I could agree with that, especially if we went to get a playoff win.
Mm-hmm. We get a playoff win. I think because Goff right now has actually got a pretty good record in the playoffs. What is he, 4-2?
Yep.
Believe so, yes.
Right,
Wait,
Goff
what
is
was the
4-2.
question?
Is Goff 4-2 or 4-3 in the play, or 5-3 in the playoffs?
I think
It's one or
last
the
time I
other.
heard he 4-2.
Because he lost in the Super Bowl.
Right.
then-
correct me if I'm wrong. He 4-2. Yep.
And then the other one he lost was to Green Bay, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, that's another signing that happened today. The Bears signed Yannick Ngakoue.
3-3.
He's 3-3. So he didn't win any that second year he went. Because I thought he lost in
The second year he won 2 and lost in the Super Bowl.
Right, but he went to the playoffs either 2 or 3 times with LA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lost in the first round to Atlanta.
And then won 1 at least. I thought he won 2 and lost in the conference championship.
2-1. Then in 2020 he beat Seattle and then lost to Green Bay.
Yeah, so that's 4-3.
3-3. Loss, win, loss, win, loss. I'm still trying to find the interception leader from last year, and I don't know who it is.
Sewell could make the Hall of Fame, but you know what? He'll probably get in on the veteran thing because it's very rare that O-linemen go in first or second ballot. The old school ones got in right away when the Hall of Fame was good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the one year he was hurt with the Rams and John Woodford played. Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's why.
Yeah, he was hurt and didn't start, and then he just came in.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think anyone but Sewell.
I think Amon-Ra is making a case to be considered a Hall of Fame wide receiver if he keeps going at the trajectory he's going.
Hey, that's them Doritos he got on his back.
Tied
He ain't stopping.
Tied an NFL record, and I started doing the research. Wasn't that Chris Carter that had the 196 receptions in his first 2 years?
Yup.
No, was that who had the record before? Because then Marcus Colston broke it. Then OBJ. Then Jarvis Landry's bum ass.
Oh yeah, and then that's who Amon-Ra tied was Jarvis Landry, right?
No, Slant Boy broke it.
So 196 is tied for the NFL record for 2 seasons.
Oh wow.
Hang on.
Oh, I know all about Bruce Matthews there, Sewell is going to go full Bruce Matthews mode and make damn sure he's in early. P.S. Bruce Matthews is easily the greatest player regular fans don't know shit about.
Jefferson owns it now. Well, tied with Slant Boy.
196?
Yep.
That's what Amon Ra has, too.
Mm-hmm.
2 seasons.
Not his first 2 years.
Yes, he's only been playing 2 years.
Yeah.
They talked about it on NFL Network.
You're right. Tied.
Yeah.
McCaffrey, which I don't count.
Yeah.
Nope.
Is Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate the best Lions duo wide receivers of all time?
Nope. Only because Stafford effect.
I still think it's Herman Moore and Brett Perriman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same here.
And Jordan also says, I think Williams St. Brown could be a better duo. If Williams can get healthy and not have the concentration drops that he's having in camp so far, I would agree with you. But Dan Campbell even addressed that. He's not that guy, and he's not that sure-handed. He's working on it and trying to get better. But he also has only played 6 games in the NFL so far, and this is his first off season. So this is the rookie woes of being a wide receiver coming into the league.
But you know
who J-Mo is?
Who?
Minus the punt returns.
Who? Eddie Drummond. Who?
Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun Jackson.
Like 55 catches for 1,200 yards.
Right. He's going to be that guy that catches it on a fly route where he burns the DB trying to turn his hips to cover him so bad he has 5 yards, gets it, and the safety
like his only catch?
Yeah.
He burnt that guy so bad. And Goff was like, oh, my God, let me just throw this kite.
But you want to know what? There's still hope.
That's a plus 10. No, I'll take more Perriman, and they had Morton too. Imagine how that would have worked out if we lost on Mitchell and got Warren Mood instead. I'm now going to cry again.
Not Scott Mitchell's fault.
No.
His wife left him literally the day before that playoff game.
Yep. If there was an NFL playoff UFC match, I would have the Robert Salah versus Dan Campbell for the Super Bowl, LOL. That would be badass. For coaches. Hell yeah, I'd love to see that match. I think that's a good matchup. The builds are close. The weight's close. I think Campbell actually is a little bit better shape than Robert Salah. He looks like he's getting a little bit of a pouch right now.
I think Campbell could take him.
I'd like to face the Jets in the Super Bowl, too, so we could beat Aaron Rodgers one more time.
A Packers fan.
That's what I want.
But a Packers fan actually said this. How great would this be after the trade that was made with Mims? Is it goes to Jets versus Lions in the Super Bowl, and the game-winning touchdown from Goff is to Denzel Mims.
Ooh.
Nah. If we're beating anyone in the Super Bowl, it's the Bills on a missed field goal.
I don't think the Bills are getting there this year.
No.
Josh Allen's mechanics are getting worse again since Brian Dable's gone. He's got no one to grab him at the sideline, shake him, and say, hey, I told you better than this. Because that's why he was good for 2 years. And get him a running back.
Anyone. I just looked at it today. I'm like, oh, who do they got? They have the exhumed corpse of Latavius Murray.
Yeah. Rocked On Podcast.
Rocked On Podcast,
yes. Jags will be a sneaky good team.
So good.
And I believe that's Will Rock, is it not?
Probably.
Yeah.
Plus, that division's a walkover because there's one good team out of 8 in the 2 South divisions.
And Patriots media says, and the Lions send him to retirement. Yeah, because he wouldn't be able to recover from that with the Rodgers get picked. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. It'd be prior to the 2-minute warning. Kirby Joseph intercepts a play in the end zone intended for Garrett Wilson.
Why you take my story? I was gonna say that.
Wait, and then
5 months.
on the 2-minute drive, and yes, sir, he says it is him. And James Curtis says Jags ain't sneaking up on anyone. T-Law is all that, and they got a wicked running back too. Yes, they do. But they also got a guy.
Oh yeah, no, they're not sneaking up. That was the last. That was that same draft where every team drafted a receiver from their quarterback's college team, and then at the end of the first round or beginning of the second, the Jags got ATN, but then he got hurt like what?
Week 2.
2 games into the season.
Yeah, week 2. Here's the thing. If you want to think about this, Travis Etienne was Jahmyr Gibbs before Jahmyr Gibbs got into college.
No, Gibbs is better.
He is.
Y'all have a good show. Thanks, Will. Nice to see you pop into the comments. I appreciate it.
ATN did impress me last year, though.
Yeah, he did. The Jets kicker was the only player that looked like in mid-season form last night. Oh, wait, it's the Browns and Jets. LOL. By the way,
I think they'll both be in the playoffs.
Right. James Burgess, the Lions game was a wake-up call for the Jags. They came in expecting to beat the shit out of us, and we mollywopped them.
What's that?
Yeah.
We did. We mollywopped them. You looked it up last time I talked about it.
Yep.
Wasn't it like 33-10 or 41-10 or some shit like that?
41-10.
Did we play the Jags last year?
Yep. We mollywopped them. Like week 9.
Yeah, we got a 40 burger on them.
Yeah, 40-14.
Yep.
That was one of their only bad games towards the end of the season. Yeah.
So after 2025, we're going to see the Pac-8.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a minute. College football talks. Jeremy, do you get a massage with Waston? No.
What the hell?
They beat the Bears 41-10 and Fields went 7 for 21 passing. Yep. Oh, but he's going to be the next great quarterback. Just ask a Bears fan.
Yep.
Hey, we've been on for an hour and a quarter, and you guys are watching a bunch of talking heads talking about football in the beginning of August. And the first game was played last night. Football's back, baby.
It is. We've been having withdrawals.
The Lions and UCLA fan here.
It's 6 now, isn't it? Or it's about to be?
It's about to go to 8. We'll have 4 of the Pac-12. Now,
and what's left in the Big 12?
Arizona State is thinking about coming over to the Big 10.
Florida State, yeah.
Not invited.
No, Arizona State. It just came out on Twitter.
So there's 8 left in the Pac-12, right?
Yep.
And there's 8 left in the Big 12, right?
Yep. They should combine. They should just merge.
Yeah, they'll just merge.
They're close enough, and the logistics is
What
right.
have I been saying for 2 years?
We're going to end up with 4 or 5 power conferences and be done.
Yeah, and if you're not
in one of those 4 or 5,
if you're not in the Big 10 or the SEC or a conference with 16 teams, the only difference is the NCAA will sue for teams in the new league. But if you're in one of those conferences with 16 teams, so that's what it is. 16.
Okay, Brian Roy, when are we going to do the game-by-game win-loss for the Lions? We are actually going to be going over that every week on Wednesday prior to any teams playing the regular season. So week 1, that Wednesday, is when we're going to do our Pick'em Wednesdays on the NFL Roundtable Talks.
Okay.
Mark Malik says the season is here. He goes, which Lions have a good season for them to have has to have a good season for them to have playoff wins? The defense.
Yep.
I'm just going to say the defense in general. It has
Yep.
to improve from, let's see, we were 28th in scoring last year when we started out historically bad through the first 7 games. We ended up 28th. Guess who was the team that was one better than that? At 27.
Who?
So Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
With 8 first-round picks on their defense last year, they were 27th in scoring. They added a 9th this year, but they lost one, so they're still at 8. And Eric Stokes is rumored to not be back till about week 5. Don't we play them week 4?
I don't know. I think we might.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Or is it Green Bay?
It's Green Bay.
Yeah.
We play Chicago and Minnie kind of late. You know what I'm saying? We play a Green Bay in Green Bay week 4, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be there too.
Yes. Yes, I'm going.
Literally nothing matters about the division until fucking week 16?
Yeah. When we play Minnesota, Chicago,
Twice
Minnesota.
in 3 weeks.
Oh, no, it's Minnesota, Dallas, Minnesota.
Yeah, Packers week 4 at Packers. That's how you know the Packers ain't shit, because the road game's in fucking September.
Right. NFL, every time the Packers are struggling, for some reason, they make the Lions
we get them
early and on the road. Even when they had Rodgers, it was the same way. When they had one of those middling teams that might just make the playoffs, not win the division.
Because they knew we couldn't beat them on the road.
Right. But there's a difference now. Who's my Super Bowl pick right now? Man, that's putting me on the spot. I know what I want. I know what the homer in me wants to say.
I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
San Francisco versus Chiefs. But the homer in me wants Lions versus Jets.
I knew you was going to say that.
It's Kansas City.
I said Kansas City versus 49ers is what I'm thinking. Because the 49ers already said, doesn't matter who their quarterback is, they can get there.
It's true.
Our home game versus the
Do I got the Chiefs winning? It's very hard for a team to repeat as Super Bowl champs. Even Tom Brady couldn't do it. So let's say no. I think the San Francisco 49ers beats them if that's the way it goes down. They got the better defense anyways.
Yeah.
Better by roster, but at that point, like we said at the beginning of the show, Kansas City's defense, like week 10 and on,
is amazing.
Yeah.
Plus Patrick
they ended up they started out where they were like 30th in scoring through the first 6 games. And by the end of the season, they were 11th or 12th.
So they usually wake up around week 4.
You guys can say what you want. When you're historically bad, averaging 32.8 points per game through 7 weeks, and you end up only giving up 24.8 or 25.6, it was almost, 25.6.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like much, but that means something. Plus,
that's a 7-point swing. That's a 7-point swing. So
plus
that means
the best offensive mind of the 20th century, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes is better than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was the best quarterback I've ever seen.
I'm going to be partying with Nick Green and, of all people, John Dorn in Green Bay. When he's not in front of the camera or not behind the keyboard, he's actually a really good guy.
Well, I'll say this, Dom. I think Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers are pretty close in the styles and the way that they play. The only difference is Kansas City got a better O-line than Green Bay.
Oh, yep. Right. The O-line rankings came out, what was it, 2 weeks ago for prior to the season?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Number 1 was Eagles. Number 2 was Detroit. Number 3 was Kansas City. Hands down.
Holy shit.
Green Bay was at 12th in the league, which that's respectable.
Yeah.
But that's if all their starters play. And Bakhtiari, you never know if he's going to be able to play week 1, let alone all season.
Yeah.
I wish those quotes were true. Something that Jordan Love allegedly said, I'm sure he didn't. Something about $5 million. And he was like, Bakhtiari spends more than that on beer.
Oh, I'm quite sure it is.
All I'm going to say is growing pains.
Yep. One of these nights, what's everyone's secret fear for the 2023 Detroit Lions, not including the obvious Goff injury thing? Yeah, that's a great topic for next week, and I will put it in. But I do want to address Brian Three Cushion says if the Lions, no, it's when the Lions beat the Chiefs in the first game of the year, that'll set the tone to the NFL. When, not if.
Yep.
I've called it ever since the schedule came out. I told Dom right there, I said, you watch, we'll beat the Super Bowl champ by 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a shootout in a close, low-scoring game or a high-powered game, we'll beat them by 4 points. Book it.
I'm with you on that, JB. I'm with you.
Because they are the youngest defense in the league this year. What do young defenses do at the beginning of the year? Dom?
Crap the bed.
Yep.
We know who had the youngest defense at the beginning of the year last year.
We did.
And injuries.
We weren't the youngest team. We had the youngest defense. The youngest team, I believe, wasn't the Ravens because their D-line is so old it makes up for their rookies. But anyways, I mean, their average starter was 29 years old on the D-line for Baltimore last year.
Yeah, beat KC and Seattle and lose to it.
Yeah, because it will be on such a high that when we go on the road to Atlanta, it'll be like when we went to Carolina after that 6-game win streak.
I think Atlanta's a home game.
No. Atlanta's on the road, ain't it?
Home.
Oh, it is home? No,
so Seattle.
Yeah, like you said, Jeremy, that Atlanta game will be tough. That 3-headed monster at running back. They got Pitts and Drake London and Ritter's ability to scramble. That could give us fits.
You know what Pitts is?
Yes.
Pitts is the tight end version of Roy Williams. He's a first down getter, not a touchdown guy. He has the same allergy that Julio Jones has, the red zone.
I'm pretty sure Pitts does not have a touchdown on American soil. I'm serious. You got one in England.
Yeah, isn't it Atlanta versus Jags in England?
Every game in England is fucking the Jags. London Jaguars.
Patriots media. Lions 97, Chiefs 93, and an NFL record of total points. Both teams combined for over 2,000 yards passing in the game. AJ Jordan says maybe Kirby decides Karen has gone, time to feed on Mahomes. Patriots media put a good laughy face in after that, but
I said, man, we going to Kansas City to see how many kids Kirby can get.
Our home game against the Packers is the Thanksgiving Day game, too.
Yes, it is.
Oh, we eating turkey legs that day. Because whatever team get the turkey leg, hey, we about to have a good Thanksgiving.
I'm going to stymie that talk right now because I think Green Bay in week 11 or 12, whenever Thanksgiving is going to be a different team than they are in week 4.
They still can't beat us. We too far advanced.
Chris, any given Sunday. That's all I got to say. I have that feeling we're going to beat them in their house, and there's a chance that Jordan Love might be okay. And Jordan Davison says nobody's beating Andy Reid in a cheeseburger eating contest. LOL. Facts. I could give him a run for his money, but I don't think I could out-eat him. What about you, Dan? Do you think you could out-eat Andy Reid?
Like you, I might be able to keep it close, but he'd probably win.
Yeah, I started losing weight. I ain't got no competition.
Ryan Three Cushion, Dan, who are playing in the last game of the year? We're playing Minnesota.
The Queens.
Yep.
The Vikings.
There.
In home. No, that's at home. We get a home ending. I call that a happy ending because we're going to smack them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We might need to win that one.
Yeah, it'll be for all the marbles. As far as I'm concerned.
They're going to try to keep that door open on the north end, so we might as well run it as much as we can.
James Burgess says, we'll win on Turkey Day because Jay Giles gave us the scouting report. Love stinks.
I know that's right.
So everybody was bragging about the big dime that Jordan Love dropped to Christian Watson, and then I saw who that he was running past. It wasn't Jair Alexander. It was UDFA, not even on the depth chart, cornerback.
Oh, that's all day. Ooh.
I'm not worried about Green Bay.
Okay,
me neither.
If you could watch Lions play any team anywhere in person, who will it be? SNC Wheel and where? If I could watch them play any team anywhere, if they get the field right, Mexico City. And I want to see them play the LA Rams. Because we had them and fell apart at the end of the game defensively. Remember that, Dom?
Yeah.
It was a 17-10 game. It was something close.
Yeah. We weren't a good team.
No, that was our first year. Speaking of which, is this the year coming up that we play NFC West over again? Next year? In 2024?
Next year.
Yeah, next year we play NFC West.
NFC West,
I was about to say,
NFC West and AFC North again, right? No,
yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it would be AFC North.
Yeah.
To answer that guy's question, the team I would like to see, I want to see, it's a team we play this year at home. I want to see us play the Raiders in Vegas, just so I can go there.
Yeah, mine would be, I would rather do the Coliseum where USC play in San Francisco, and we kick their asses.
James Irvin says, my recently passed father lived 20 minutes away from Lambeau and saw a few games there, and no one is thinking Favre Rodgers about him at this point, and it's the worst take for Green Bay processing speed. Well, after an hour and a half, I think I'm ready to call it a night. I want to thank everybody in the chat. We had Jordan Davison, James Burgess, Brian Roy, Lions 1960, Hatter's House 710. My God, we've had everybody in there. Thank you to Keegan, Chris, Dan, and Dom. Dom, do you got a parting shot for tonight?
No.
No? How about you, Chris?
Nah.
Big Dan?
Just excited that football is back. That's it for me.
Okay, and before we all go, Jordan asked one more question. If you could live with one Lions player for a week, who would it be? Dom?
Oh, definitely GOAT number 20.
Barry? Okay. Chris?
Mine will be Spicy CJ GJ.
Big Dan?
I'd live with Chris Spielman for a day.
Actually, wait, can I change mine?
Sure.
I'm going Jared Goff.
Okay.
Because he would give me ideas for Halloween costumes.
I'm going to go off the wall here. I'm not even going to go player. I want to live with the Lions cheerleaders for a week. Not even to do anything, just to say, hey. Yeah, I love you too, Wendy. This has been Kneecap Biting with the Detroit Lions. I'm Smoking Jeremy B. Thanks, Dom, Kristen, Dan. And I'm going to end this show the same way I end every show. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. It's the only way to make the world a better place. Thank you for watching, and I will be on tomorrow night.